Hello, friends. My name is Caroline, and this is a first impression slash review of episode 1 of Boku Dake ga Inaimachi, also known as Erased. So, I'm going to start off by saying that this anime has been recommended so many times by my close friend and by pretty much anyone who has been watching and being up to date with the show, but most especially my friend. Um, Let me tell you, I looked it up on myanimelist.net and I was completely shocked at the amount of praise and so much hype that it's been getting. It's so surreal. It's like One Punch Man all over again. And it even reached the top 5. It knocked off Hunter x Hunter off of its spot in top anime, which for me it's like, whoa, like what is going on? What happened? Like it's so surreal. And by Friday I was like, okay, friend, I'll do what you ask. I'll sit down next to you. I'll watch it with you. I'll watch episode 1 again with you, and I'll do it. And she was so happy. She was like, oh my god, you're gonna love it. You're gonna want to watch the second episode, blah 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 blah. Like, super excited. I was felt so bad for her. um I liked it. I did. I liked episode 1, but I'm a little disappointed. And I'll explain why in detail a little bit later. So, this anime is about a failed mangaka named Satoru Fujinuma. Satoru Fujinuma. He also works as a pizza boy. And he lives a very average life, except for one thing. He goes through this phenomenon at times that he calls revival. And what it is that he is able to go back in time traveling, um, several minutes and prevent tragedies from occurring. So, like someone getting killed or getting kidnapped or whatnot, he's able to prevent that from occurring. And it only happens when something bad is about to happen. So, basically, the first few scenes is just about his life, introducing the characters, setting up the mood and whatnot, and just getting a gist of how exactly his ability works. And Satoru, by the way, he is not a happy protagonist, which is completely understandable. He's a 29-year-old failed manga artist. He's not doing very well in his chosen career. He's not romantically tied to anybody. And he also blames himself for not being able to prevent the murder, or no, yeah, to not being able to prevent the murder of this girl he knew as a child named Kayo. And if he had asked her to walk home with him, um, basically she wouldn't have been kidnapped, she wouldn't have been murdered later on, blah blah blah. So it stuck with him all these years, and also because of that, he had a friend named Yuki, and he was a little older than he was, and he gets convicted of the girl's murder and a series of other murders that had been occurring in that area. So it's a very traumatic thing to go through as a child. So I completely understand why he's the way he is in the beginning, um, so far. I just really hope that he gets more character development as the anime continues, which I'm sure he will. But I'm just wondering how they're going to do that in a span of 12 episodes. It's kind of, in my opinion, it's pretty difficult to do that. One character that I did like was the mother. I thought she was funny, but she wasn't funny in the silly, over the top, that kind of humor that throws off the kind of atmosphere that the show is trying to create. And she's also a very intelligent woman. She has stage presence also, like for once, which is really rare for anime moms to have. So kudos to you, Erased, for giving mommy the much needed stage presence rather than being just a sideshow support system for the main character. And sadly, she is the one who was sacrificed by the end of the episode. The way that she died was so awful. It was so bad, and I was really sad um, that was the way that she had to go. It was really bad. It was sudden, and it was just, it's really awful. And I expected it completely once the murderer laid eyes on them and her. I was like, this bitch is gonna die. She's gonna die and whatever. Yeah, it was so bad. And so Toru like walks in on the murder scene, like his mom's already like sprawled on the floor dead, and then he brushed past, like as he was walking to his apartment, he like brushes past the killer, and obviously he doesn't know that it's him, but like he senses that there's something's up. You get me? And then that's when the suspense starts because a neighbor walks in at the wrong moment, and then he overreacts and he resists getting arrested by the police, and that triggers his ability to take him back years and years back to when he was a child, and he becomes a little his boy self, his child self. So it's a 29-year-old in a little boy's body, which is so funny. And that's where the episode leaves off. It irked me when he jumped to conclusions and the police convicted him of his mother's murder. He was suspected, not convicted. Obviously, he was in the crime scene. He had blood on his mother's hand because he tried to like wake her up, thinking that, in that moment, you think, yeah. So he had blood all over his hands, and then the neighbor walked in. Obviously, he's gonna be a suspect, but he didn't even give them a chance. Like he didn't even he just ran off. Like that's gonna make you suspect you more. It's gonna make them suspect you more. Like why would you do that? But then my friend was like, "Oh, he was just overreacting. You would have done the same thing too." But it's so stupid. It's like, no, you just go with them, explain what happened, and they would have done their job. They would have figured out, hey, it's highly unlikely that this guy would murder his mother. He has no motive to murder her, and he has his work schedule would conflict. He was at work while she was being freaking stabbed or something. I don't know. Yeah, like he would have not been. I think he wouldn't have been convicted of it unless Japan's justice system is not that great. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. So I was just kind of like one of those scenes where I was just like, really, he's one of those characters. Like that's immediately what I thought. So I have a feeling he's gonna be more like that later on. So anyways, now that I've recapped a little bit, it was a decent first episode. It was a good first episode. A little slow, like most first episodes for obvious reasons, introducing the characters, trying to set up everything. I get it. I'm not gonna be turned off by the fact that I wasn't fangirling by the end, like a lot of other people who were like, oh my god, this is so good. I was like, yeah, it was good. It was good. I am gonna watch. I am gonna continue it. I was just a little disappointed, and the disappointment comes from a show getting too hyped up by fans. It ruins the experience for me because I start developing high expectations for the show, and then when they're not met, it happens, and I can't enjoy a show if I get if I start having really high expectations of it. So yeah, and I think if I would have not been exposed to the hype, I would have probably enjoyed episode 1 more. But I was just like super like critical. Like I was like, why did he do this? Why did he do that? How does this work? How does And I'm gonna try to like not be too much into that circle of the fans, the circle of fans that are like super like hyping up this show, because I have a feeling I'm not gonna enjoy it as much if I stick around too much with that crowd. I'm gonna do something that I have never done before, and I'm gonna continue watching Erased even though it's airing. Death Parade has been sitting on my watch list since the last time I saw episode 1, which is like 2014. So I don't really want to repeat it. That's why I'm going to continue it on before I make that same mistake again. So, yeah, that was my first review. If you liked it, please comment, subscribe, put a like. Thank you so much. Bye.